3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. 2 years in the waiting, and we're finally fucking back, boys. It is the return of the Chonation Podcast, the comeback, the revival. I got a few friends over to redo this revival podcast with me. Guys, can you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Starting with the guy in the phone in the far with his Pokemon shirt.
I'm Christian. Hello.
Yeah, okay.
Salvador. And it's me with the shingles.
And this is North Korea Michael.
So I brought a bunch of my friends over because, it's just fitting that we're going to talk about one of my favorite hobbies, Magic the Gathering. And so I brought you guys over today just kind of crack your mind a bit. What got you into playing Magic the Gathering?
I don't know who you want to start with first.
I guess we'll start with Sal, since you're the first guy new here that really played Magic.
Oh, cool. Well, I started playing Magic in middle school, but the first time I bought it was I was only 9 years old. I went to the People's Bazaar. What was that called? Capadres Mall.
Yeah.
And they had this shop. What was it called, Shin? Dragon's Lair. And just as a kid, you see a bunch of guys, a bunch of people just playing cards, and I want to know what it is. So some big dude that came over, talked to my mom, and showed me this core set, 7th edition core set. It had the DVD or the CD-ROM that would teach you how to play, and I just played that. And just got involved over the years. So I didn't get back into playing Magic until my freshman year.
Yeah, and talking about coming back from this, I know Christian, when I first started getting the game, I didn't really see that dude until maybe a year in. Christian, can you tell me tell us a little bit of your experience of what got you in the game?
I remember I was on base. I bought this. Is it 7th edition or 8th edition that came with the CD?
The
7th edition. Then sorry, I'm on my phone. I'm gonna get off. So I got that. I'd never played the CD though. I had the starter deck, and my friend in school would kind of just take his older brother's cards, and so we just jammed from there. I think after the base, I started going to box seats, or LGS now. So yeah, kind of just kept going from there.
Yeah, that's generally the theme here, right? It's about trying to get our friends, or we've seen some bunch of people playing it. It's talking about friends that started playing games. My friend here, Shin, I knew this motherfucker for a long time, and I never knew he played Magic again until he showed up one day. So Shin, can you tell us a bit of your history of playing Magic, man?
Well, I was actually introduced to play Magic pretty young. I think I was 3rd or 4th grade when I was taught how to play Magic. One of my neighbors, he was one of the older fellow, maybe 3-4 years older than me. He was already in middle school, and hung out in the neighborhood, and he was right next door to me, so I always hang out at his house. And one day he was playing Magic, and then he showed me how to play, and then I guess I was kind of his goldfish when he tested his deck. So of course I kind of learned how to play. So it was more of a social learning experience for me, and it's kind of coincidence, I guess, too, because I remember vividly the first cards that I was playing with were 7th edition as well. So I don't know if it's coincidence or if it was just a trending theme, or maybe it's just tying our ages all together. I don't know.
Yeah, we're around the same age, right?
Yeah, just about. So I guess we got kind of exposed at the same time.
Yeah, and now the last guy in the room, the last person I actually really met in this group of a bunch of ragtag individuals. So Mike, can you tell us about your history, man?
Well, I started Magic back in 2001, 2002, Thanksgiving. Was playing cards with my cousin Joe, doing Magic versus Yu-Gi-Oh. He started 8,000. I started at 20. I won, of course. One attack wins all. But then I realized Yu-Gi-Oh was pretty fucking boring after he taught me a few steps on Magic. The first deck he ever made me was Mono Blue Wizards Control, and that pretty much started my entire Magic career of just playing mostly just anything Control and Blue together. And I think by 2003 is when I officially gave up Yu-Gi-Oh and just played Magic throughout. And then my first tournament would be box seats. And I'm not sure if I met any of you guys during that time, or at least during 2003, 2004.
I doubt it.
Yep.
I didn't play in the LGS at that time.
I'm like the older person here, I guess.
Yeah, you grandpa.
Yeah, old man.
I played with the I guess the smaller LGS, or it was more of a hobby store at that Dragon's Lair, the one in Salvador I mentioned earlier. You know what? Quick little fun fact: I ended up marrying the owner's granddaughter.
You want the free cards? Free cards
I had to see it through.
We now know the secret of what the married woman
Yeah,
is.
the nice dice and everything.
that's next level shit, dude.
I had to see it through, yeah.
Yeah, no, like it's interesting because like I came from like Yu-Gi-Oh! As my first card game too, and only like until I got to like my university era, I just saw a bunch of weirdos. I think it were or the student center just playing this random card game. Like, what the fuck are y'all playing, you fucking nerds? And it was like, oh, this is fucking Magic. And it's like, oh, this is interesting. Actually, I really met Salvador too. He was like the head honcho there, busting people out, and he's actually the one who helped me introduce me to our local LGS, which is box seats. And talking about that, one thing I really enjoy about Magic the Gathering is about the whole community aspect of it. Like, we all know each other from our local LGS, but what can you just like in like a few summaries about how important the community is to your Magic experience, or just your overall experience playing any type of hobbies?
Well, I'm sure you know this, Cho, but like whenever I play a game or get serious in the game, I get really serious, really competitive. Like,
oh yeah, especially those Han and Dota days.
Han, Dota, League of Legends, Magic was no exception. Yeah, for a time I played exclusively electronically through MTGO, but then one day I just decided, man, it kind of missed the feel of the cards and shuffling through my hands. So I showed up that one day down at the LGS and surprised how big the community actually was, considering from what I remember and how small our community was. And needless to say, if I were playing the game just for the game and for its competitive edge, I'd still just be playing electronically. But the community is doing something right for me to come out and want to play paper with you guys.
Yeah, like I know, like a lot of us, we hang out just casually on every Friday nights. Especially like most of you guys grew up with box seats. I know you and Chris and your brother Romel came up from box seats. Can you can you describe like the friendship that was born and bonded there?
A lot of late nights, a lot of mentoring. Like I remember going there and getting stomped by all the older dudes, and at first it was kind of like bad blood. Kind of felt like I was being bullied. I was like, man.
Yeah, it was not nice. Just two high school students that just played with our like unsleeved decks.
Rifle shuffling, like just what is now expensive cards, but back then it was fucking cheap. Like Tarmogoyf, penny rare.
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
Like what high school student could get a Tarmogoyf for like 5 of them in like a week or so? Like no one knew that shit. Actually, in our first draft at box seats, we didn't even plan to go, but like we had nothing else to do, so we drafted. It was Lorwyn, and no one would tell us that we only had to make like a 40 card deck minimum. We used every single card that we drafted. We had 5 color like.
No one's told us that they had a land box.
Yeah.
So like I remember picking lands like, oh shit, I don't have enough of these, man. I fucking need a bunch, dude. And like they started making jokes like, oh shit, these 2 guys are fucking picking out the lands. It's like, oh god.
Like they were nice. They weren't nice at all. I was like, what the hell? And then all the guys that would just keep winning turns just like keep bagging on Chris and I.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long for us to get at it though, but I guess it was more of like what was that called? A hazing?
Rite of passage, for like nerds, I guess. Like,
I mean, you learned, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it made you just all that better.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I don't feel like we have that anymore. Like the rite of passage. I just feel like we just like all chill outside and just drink beer and have fun.
It's kind of like what we do though. I feel like that's the rite of passage now. It's like, let's go see how much you can drink.
Well, see, like, I mean, I don't really see groups coming out the way we did. I mean, yeah, we have like a few of those high schoolers that come out and play, but like none that came out and play as hard as we did coming out of high school. I mean, I remember staying up to the late hours of the night into the bright earlies of the morning, just playing and getting beat by the same thing over and over again until it registered in my head that, you know, maybe these 2 islands untapped mean something, you know? Like,
Yeah, I'd build like decks just from whatever I had and make sure I had 2 decks, and I just play against myself. I don't know why. Kind of weird.
and I guess it's also, I guess it's making me sound old again, but the information wasn't as readily available as it was.
Yeah.
You know, like you
Yeah.
couldn't just go on MTG Goldfish back then,
Yep.
or MTG Top 8 or MTG Salvation or any of those kind of articles. We had what was it called? What was the magazine? There was a magazine that talked about top strategies, but by that time it was already too late. You know, by the time you're reading about this stuff, you know, it was.
Oh yeah, 'cause we get everything fucking late. You know what I mean? I don't remember seeing a magazine ever. Like I think like I relied heavily on getting like those booklets from the Fat Packs to actually like know what cards were in there.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But I mean, like,
Yeah, like
in terms of strategy and meta, like our only resource was that magazine. I keep
I don't
forgetting.
even think there was a meta back in the day, like, cause there was just no.
Oh, there
was like no like. What is it called? Like you know the internet wasn't
Archetypes.
like a
We didn't
yeah.
have darks. I mean, there definitely was a meta. It's just here in the island we did not feel that because our card pool is smaller, and at that time the spread of information was a lot slower. But you know, if you look back in the, you know, even as early as Magic in '98, there was definitely some sort of meta.
Oh, I'm talking like, but we're not talking
Yeah.
about the states though.
Yeah,
we're
I'm not
talking about here.
locally. I mean,
Yeah.
even now it's hard to suggest a meta locally.
Yeah, like, I feel like, especially like in our local level, we don't really like go too hard net decking. Well, it's minus certain individuals.
Minus that same 4 or 5 certain dudes who just can't help but copy and paste. Yeah.
And still end up getting smashed by my jam.
Yeah, they always get to like fucking
Yeah, we
third.
all just try to have fun, right? That's
To be
like-
honest, like I said, you know, if I only wanted to play Magic for its competitive edge and its technicalities, I would have solely remained and relied on MTGO.
I mean, think about this, like, because like, so for those who really don't know, like, sometimes a new set release, Magic, they will host this thing called Game Days where it try to highlights like the best players in theory for the formats of that time, right? So all of us here have already won a Game Day championship, right? Can you go on to like how your feelings of your first time you actually won a Game Day?
I was surprised. I think I was starting to do my hiatus. It was back in Innistrad. What's the second block of Innistrad called?
Dark Ascension?
Dark Ascension?
Yeah.
Tokens.
Tokens. I did the black-white token build, and I sat out, I think, for the first Innistrad and maybe like a little bit before that. And then my buddy Sal and our bro Ramel, you know, they kind of were like, hey, we miss you. We haven't seen you at the shop in like a couple months. Like, you know, stroll by and we'll build you a deck. And I was like, okay, shoot. They built the black-white tokens. I piloted it that same day. And won. It was just kind of odd. I don't know. There was no mat, I don't think. So
Yeah,
back
Matt's
on,
like
yeah.
came out
it
like
kind
a
of
lot
sucks that there
later.
was no mat.
Yeah.
Like,
At least you could say like you at least won something, right?
yeah.
Well, I mean, like going back to like when there was no meta or the net decking. I was still in high school. I had dial-up until I had dial-up internet until I was in college, and I just begged my parents to give me Wi-Fi. Anyway, like me and Chris and our friends we'd like building our own decks and think it's our own creation. That's why we were excited to play it. Then I go over and I challenge this one guy. He's a judge. No, I drop no names or
We're not
anything.
name dropping here.
And I drop no names, and like
Share level 2.
no matter what I do, I just kept losing to this deck, and I just thought, wow, this deck is amazing. There's no flaws. It works perfectly and everything. And he's like, yeah, it even has I even named it. I'm like, what was the name? He told me it's called Naya Lightsaber, and I'm like, damn, that's a fucking awesome name. And then the next thing you know, I see guys popping in our LGS. I've never seen them before. You know, military coming to the States or something because they have their card pool and they come in with the same deck, and they're like, yeah, this is Naya Lightsaber. I'm like, same name, same deck. I didn't know what net decking was. Like, yeah, this is on the internet. Like, this is the top deck. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you could just go onto this site, and it says all the top decks are standard. I'm like, no wonder. Wow. That's how I was introduced to net decking. I just thought like this guy was so much better than me and all this Magic stuff, and
But did you win a game day through net decking though? Let's be honest.
I mean, I won a game day through net decking. I won game days without net decking, and it's a lot better to win without net decking.
Your first game day win was what, Lorwyn?
Yeah, I won Lorwyn without net decking. I mean, it was straight up. It was just mono white Kifkins. It wasn't. I know mono white was back when Lauren came in, but mine was straight. I run stuff that they wouldn't run in their mono white. I ran the Thought Wef. It's a Kifkin card. It gives your guys +1/+1, and if you have a Kifkin, draw a card just instantly. Just one of those. Like I run that. I run some. It was just more tribal or anything. I like tapping sideways.
How about you, Mike? How was your game day experience like?
Well, my first game day, I versed you. The top 8, I was playing Black Blue Dragons. You were playing Esper Bullshit Control.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed this 1 hour match of ours.
Yeah, you took like 4 turns in a row, and then that was my first experience losing to that, and that made me decide to never play Esper-like decks because they take forever. I remember we were discarding because we didn't want to play a spell because the first one to play a spell pretty much loses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I can see that.
And then I lost to a morph down Stratus Dancer because I couldn't have the
Sounds
remove
so
for it.
That sounds
I was getting
horrible.
smacked down by a 2/2 morph creature, and that was the most
That's it, man.
disturbing
Control
experience.
matchups is the first one to get that little wiener out. Start beating them in.
And then the first game that, or the only game that I've actually won was the second time, which was Oath of the Gatewatch. I played a Black-Red Dragon.
Aggro.
Aggro, mid-range, whatever deck.
Aggro.
It was pretty interesting. Playing with 12 fetch lands
Oh
for
yeah.
2 colors only.
Glorious fetch lands in standard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I went 7-1, I think, for that game day.
Aggro.
My sideboard was 10 cards to counter Siege Rhino. I never played a single. I didn't play against any Siege Rhino that day.
Oh man, rest in peace, Siege Rhino. That's my favorite card.
Oh my god, I hate C Ryan.
I never liked the crap Zan builds at all. That shit wasn't fun to play.
Actually, before we go to you, Shin, I wanted to preface this because I feel like we're kind of like arch enemies right now.
Kind of, I suppose you could say that.
Well, like my game day experience is like when I first started, I got the worst thing ever when I built this American Control back at Theros time, and my first opponent was Jason Sablon. We went to 200 life game 1, and we fucking timed out in the 50-minute round. Great experience. Then Salvador was like my first final boss of every game day I played. I always seem to meet him in semifinals and finals, and he always beats me. Feels bad, man, but
That last one feels bad.
oh yeah.
I mean, the one I know what you're talking about. You're playing Naya, right? Brave
Yeah,
Naya.
Brave Naya.
And I was playing like a black white mid range. I mean, it was pretty harsh because that deck I didn't expect it to win. The only reason why I was here playing the Fat Demon, like that's the only reason why I played it is because of Fat Demon. Every time it's the 5/5 enchantment creature,
Yeah,
5/5 flying for 3 mana. He does a damage to you or something like that.
Yeah.
And every time
your opponent
every time-
draws a card.
Did he have flash?
No,
No.
he was just flying 3 draw.
3/3 5/5, yeah.
Yeah, but in the
Oh,
thing
you
was
lost
that
life, right?
no, your opponents during your opponent's upkeep they draw a card.
See, that my thing was like every time I cast, I'm like Fat Demon, and that's the only reason why I did it. But like,
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a clock, man.
I can't believe I won that game day.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, actually, you cleared out all the American
I
Control.
went against every one of Sal's bad matchup, and my only bad matchup was Sal.
And it was in the final. It was like it wasn't even fair. I was like, I
Yeah.
gained all the life in the world, and then that was it.
Yeah, I was playing an aggro deck. He was playing like a pseudo life gain deck with a card that literally says "fuck my deck."
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then it goes. And see, this is why I want to prefix like my like I would like to say like rivalry with Shin because the first time I won a game day was Eldritch Moon, and I had to challenge against. Yeah, I had to go against Shin in the finals.
That was actually.
That was actually the day you finally beat me.
Yeah, I finally beat Sal in the semis too.
That was actually a pretty good game. To be quite honest.
Yeah, that was like clutch. Game 3 clutch. And then see like that's why I can say my rivalry because I beat you the first time for Eldritch Moon. Then you beat me right after on what was that?
No, it wasn't right after. It wasn't until Amonkhet.
Yeah, there Amonkhet you beat me, and then I beat you again during this last one. Not this. Not the.
No, it was the same Amonkhet.
Oh yeah. The day after.
Yeah,
Every game days are usually 2 days with sometimes a midnight or an afternoon release depending on the shop. And then Shin beats me the first day, and then I beat him the second day. So I like to say I'm ahead in this rivalry right now.
I mean, I don't really count the Amonkhet ones because before I played the Amonkhet, I actually kind of took like a hiatus for Magic from what is it, Kaladesh-ish block. I missed one whole block of that, and then when I came back, you know, I was ready. I just want to say I was really pushing zombies since, you know, the spoils of Innistrad just didn't get any help. And it just so happens when I went into my little hiatus, fucking zombies was the greatest thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So it was kind of like my net deck win experience. You know, I just assembled the cards in. And I beat it. And it was actually kind of like a really sweet moment because I guess there was a lot of zombies playing in that field that day. And I guess the previous day too. But I've had multiple players compliment me and like, you know, I've played this matchup before, but then after playing you, I understand I've never really played this matchup before, because I guess people who didn't really understand how to play the zombies, but that's besides the fact. But the first game, the one that you beat me, the first one, that was actually like a really bittersweet one because I kind of did a net decking on that, but it was kind of like a reverse engineered net decking. It was like I didn't net deck and pulled one of the lists off there. It was I took the data from what decks I was most likely to find, and then I just constructed this deck that I thought would just demolish the higher percentage of the games. And you know, I don't know where it took that turn to become mono colorless, but yeah, that was a sweet game day. I was dropping Titans left and right. At one point I would have all three of them assembled, and it was great. And yeah, man, I think I was one card away from winning that game day. But it was a really good experience. I mean, that was the first time I got close enough for the game day because I haven't really played game days before that. And then winning one shortly after was kind of like meh. I didn't really care so much for it.
Yeah, and Magic is a very old game with
Yeah.
many different formats.
And it's older than you.
Yeah, it is older than me. Like the game came out in
it is
1992 by Richard Garfield.
I'm only older by
Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know, with all the formats, what would be your favorite format in Magic?
EDH.
Hands down, the greatest format ever made.
EDH.
Yeah. Super fucking casual, but you gotta get good, man. Like,
Honestly, had we done this maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and had they said that answer at that time, I would have made a witty or snarky comment about it. But you
And
know
then
what?
sneak in modern.
I do agree that I will say it on recording that EDH is a format. It's a pretty good format. It's a fun format.
It's the greatest format.
Particularly my favorite format at the moment would be modern, because it has a sizable card pool, but not to a card pool where cards aren't accessible unless you're a collector.
Oh yeah, the big baller status of like vintage and legacy.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, where
exactly.
it costs a card to play a deck.
Yeah,
You know?
but yeah, probably my close second I would admit now is EDH because for a time I was roasting EDH. I was saying it wasn't really Magic. People who played EDH, you know, didn't know how to play. And I guess that's like I said earlier. You know, I always have a competitive edge when I play games, but then one day I just realized, you know, like, hey, you know, we're all playing Magic to have fun, and EDH is that format to have fun. So in that respect, in that regard, EDH may be the greatest format for fun.
I don't know. I think you're like not giving it credit at all because like it's a very fun casual format and it can definitely be competitive because I mean we all have competitive EDH decks like variants, but what we do is we dumb it down so that when we play with 4 guys, it's not I'm winning on turn like 2 or 3, which I think you very well can do that with a Narset deck. I mean in a 100 card pull against like 3 other dudes on a table winning turn 2 or 3, like that's I don't know, that's not competitive.
Yeah,
you tell me.
Narset, man.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
dirty Narset.
I'm not saying it's not competitive. I just said that its competitive scene is not as widely accepted
Yeah,
Well, I understand that
Correspondent.
because EDH was made for multiplayer, and you say you're you're all about the competitiveness. And so
I know, but
if
don't-
you want to do competitive, I say modern would probably be the most competitive. I would agree
But
with
then
that.
don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I mean,
It's true. Modern.
what's more competitive than going at not one person's throat but 3 other people's throat? So it's a very competitive format if you want, if you want to put it in that regards. But what I'm saying is, in likeness of streamlining and consistency of what you can expect and metagaming, modern, legacy, vintage is a lot more to scope down versus seeing one person's commander and trying to rifle down what is gonna happen in their 99 card deck. I mean, you can't really even say 99 card deck because you can probably name 15 or 16 generic cards that that's high suspect in there. So
Soul Ring, Mana Vault.
yeah.
I think what I like, the reason why I believe EDH is like the greatest format is one, you only need one card, one copy of a card.
Mm-hmm.
It helps.
I like that.
But the flavor that it brings and the creativity it brings, you could still be competitive and play cards no one will play. There is no true net decking for EDH.
Yeah, so
No,
just
that's
so we can
definitely
bring
not.
Mike into the conversation, talking about cards that no one plays. Umezawa's Jitse.
Wrong. Umezawa.
Oh yeah, sorry, Tetsu Umezawa.
The
Yeah,
greatest
GT is
EDH
amazing.
general.
He's the second best Grixis general from
Yeah.
Croesus to Purger. That guy is
Mhm.
first. I'm just saying.
That's bias, bro.
Well,
That's
Well, he
bias.
just said Tetsu's the greatest EDH general.
He just
also.
killed the greatest, dragon out there, Nicobolus.
Oh, but he's not dead though.
He's not dead though.
Well, he physically killed him.
I mean,
He's
he's
not
physically
dead,
alive.
Well, I mean, many
He
many
weakened
years
him.
ago,
You could say he weakened him, but Ajani did that. Ajani put him to the
like
oblivion.
No,
Tetsu actually killed him.
He actually
Yeah.
killed Nicobolus.
Yeah, he killed his body.
And then that's why he went to his spirit went to conflict so he could resurrect his body.
Ah, the conflicts.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
tapped and destroyed him. He actually barbecued him with like a meteor.
Oh, yeah,
Dragon.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
And that is why his GT is overpowered. dude.
Shout out to Final Fantasy VII Meteor.
Oh,
Would that make Bolas like a behemoth or Ultima weapon?
Definitely a summon.
Probably.
You know.
But see, look at that. Everyone has a person. Like everyone has like their, as you could say, their avatar.
Yeah.
I would say like my favorite general was Croesus the Purger. Even though I'm gonna admit, I don't play that guy at all. If I'm playing him when I'm playing EDH, I have nothing else to play. Or I'm challenging one-on-one a monocolored deck, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, but like it gives everyone a feeling like they can just choose a shitty ass journal that's so cool, Isamaru or some shit, and they'll just play whatever they want to play. That's why I like it. EDH to me, it comes down to the community. Like our community is so great. I could say this right now that I probably wouldn't have been playing Magic if it wasn't for the guys that in our community that stuck to it. I've seen it come and go. I've been at box seats every week, mostly every week, once a week. Since I was 15, I'm like 25 now.
It's about a decade, bro.
So it was a decade. And I would see the community, like, these guys, the greatest thing about Magic is the players. You wouldn't know who played Magic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's actually pretty surprising.
Yeah, like.
And you'd be surprised. We had a cage fighter come in,
Mhm.
played Magic. Then we have like a lot of these guys that they're lawyer, everything. We had a wide range. We're not just what is it called stereotype to like the nerds with glasses
That's
and
the
nothing else to
beauty of
do.
it, right? That, like for me, like you could just look at the people here. Like we all come from like kind of like really different aspects of life and different like professions. Like I'm the only one really here that's like a university students. Sal's well,
Like with that,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, you said how like I was the head honcho of all those guys, the
Mhm.
UOG guys. See, the thing was, I mean, all my friends either graduated from college or are in the military. They weren't there, so I needed to branch out. I played basketball and I worked out a lot, and so it showed. And I see all these kids playing, these university students playing Magic, and I would just stand there and watch them, not knowing that I played. And so I finally brought my deck down. They're like, "Oh, you play?" They were like freaking out. They like they were so scared to talk to me. And then as soon as I sat down and played, they were trying to teach me how to play. Like, oh, you have cards too. And then
That's never sounds.
they'd flip it
super
around.
familiar.
Then I would just beat them. Like
That's never sounds
Yeah.
super familiar, huh,
like,
Calvin?
so when I met you, Cho, it's like okay, I seen you when you played Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mhm.
and you're like the only kid that actually like came in and gave me competition over at UOG.
Yeah, dude, I was like same with Shin, dude. Like I just love competition. Like if I don't play kind of like competitively, or even like mildly competitive, then I do just get bored of it.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned a situation like that because Calvin and actually also Calvin Elm kind of suffered the same kind of I guess humility situation when I walked in for the first time, the box seats, and God knows how long. It was a Battle for Zendikar Draft, I believe. And they're like, "Oh, hey, Shin, I didn't know you played Magic." And I was like, "Oh, I played a little bit, you know. Yeah, you play here and there."
Yeah, well, eye-opening moments.
sitting at the draft table, and they're giving me like tips and how I should use stuff, and what are the tricks on using instant speed removal and stuff, and then
I remember that. I was like
finally sleeving up, and
I was like, yeah, Shin,
asking to cut my deck, and then they learned quickly that I think I could hold my own. Yeah, I had a pretty good running that season. I think I played you like one time. Cause you guys hardly draft. That's why.
We used to draft all the damn time.
All
as
the
a matter of
time,
fact,
yeah.
that we didn't have standard tournaments. Those were scarce.
No, I mean like
Yeah,
when I was playing, like you guys hardly played draft.
Standard tournaments were like an extremely special occasion back in the day. Like
Actually, dude, at
draft.
the time.
Oh well, it was kind of like special to even have more than 6 to 8 people
Yeah.
at the LGS before, because like it used to be 6 to 8 average, and we would like call people like, "Hey, dude, we'll hold off on the draft for like 45 minutes,"
As a matter of fact, when I came into Battle for Zendikar, it was actually I guess it was really good timing, because it was an outrageous number of turnouts. Because I guess
when you came around, especially around VFZ, is like when really like Mike came around, and there's a lot of people, especially.
I guess because it was for the lands. I'm telling you, it's for those expedition lands. Because that was the first time it was introduced.
Mm-hmm.
But then after a while, kind of got diluted the more they did it.
Like just think about like our community now.
We fired double pod at one point.
Yeah, we fired 3 pods before.
It grew. Our community grew because of that. But I like how it grew, and then even though everyone has their expeditions, prices dropped, came and go, like the community stayed. We have barbecues this is the point where we bring everyone to our own house, and we'll just stay and play Magic, or even just drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like come to like our kid's birthday.
Yeah.
Or that kind of.
Yeah, we went hard for Sal's birthday just 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
Well, like-
that was pretty great.
Yeah, so I'm like, these are guys that even if Magic is done, I'll call them up. Let's go drink. Or
Yeah, especially look
Actually,
at
there's a couple times where I just called you guys up to
Yeah,
drink.
just imagine like the room here, right? Like we all come from like really off like occupations. Mike is a photographer / videographer, overall cameraman. Shin's a
Probably
chef.
the best one on island.
Yeah. Then we have Chris, who's a military, and Sal is helping out as a student aide or correction officer. No,
Security officer.
It's like correction officer.
kind of like security guard status in
Safety
schools.
officer, right?
Safety officer.
guys, I'm a probation
A
officer.
probation officer.
Safety
Oh,
probation.
I don't know, bro. You got me on that one.
I was like, what? How many times did I talk to you guys about that?
Dude, it's
When
this,
did
it's
you
this
get
on mine all the
promoted?
time.
I'm like, you guys call me security.
No, I said corrections, man.
The corrections is pretty dope, but
Yeah.
they're too hardcore. I can't do corrections. You'll never see me in corrections. I'm a probation officer, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, like it's like we're all very weird professions that you usually won't see like, and even like the people in our group, we all come from like so much different backgrounds, and that's like I want to bring back to like the first point or second point I made about just how good of our community is, right? How much we would not have been able to play this game or stick to this game if it weren't for the community.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
And I'd like to add to that where I will admit that EDH is the greatest social format.
oh yeah, there you go. I'll give it there.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
By far.
Middle ground.
Because
I mean-
modern is like the greatest. To me, I like modern as competitive.
No, because it's streamlined. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like social, yeah, I'll give it EDH.
I
But
don't know, man.
I
I
think-
never
I
really
think-
liked modern.
I think I'm gonna
It's
have.
been my thing. Extended was like kind of where I drew the
Where you
line.
drew the line.
Yeah, and then like when modern came out, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm out."
Oh,
Like, I'll stick to standard and limited.
Can I take back my favorite format? Because I think my favorite format would be actually fucking kitchen table. That's probably the best format.
Kitchen table.
Think about it, because when you play kitchen table, right? You all have one thing in mind, and it's just to beat your friend's face in.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. I guess you can get that aspect with EDH, but then
Any community game, you know, like the community deck. If you guys ever tried that, it's like a 300 card deck of lands, and everyone just draws from the same deck, 7 cards, multiplayer. We'll do it one day. It's all shitty rares and commons, and it's like basically if everyone chaos drafted, and we put everything that we chaos draft into one big ass deck, and we add lands, and then like 6 players will draw from that and play. It's pretty fun.
You played it once, right?
Yeah, you played it once over at my
is
house.
there drinking
there.
involved? Because I feel
There's
like,
always drinking involved.
Yeah.
I feel like that game has like drinking all over it.
Because you could have shit or you could have fun, the variable.
So-
Knowing our group, there's definitely drinking involved.
So who wins if the deck gets milled out?
It won't get milled out.
We say that, but how about if I made it my life's going green to mill that deck? Who wins? Is it like a
Y'all
Dude,
lose.
Yeah.
oh, it's like no, it's whoever mills the deck out, and you take
The person
turns.
who draws
When
loses.
you draw, you lose. Oh, you draw.
Yeah.
No, I guess I win because I don't go to my draws.
And for that point, then I'm gonna put Temple Bell in so someone could understack and everyone draws from the same
Dude,
deck.
so you traumatize the deck and then double build it.
No,
Yeah.
you fraying sanity traumatized. That's
There you go.
probably the only way you're gonna do a 300 deck.
I think Magic is like I don't want to say the glue, but it's like the strings that makes this community good. Because when people call out, "Hey, who wants to play EDH?" We know we're gonna play EDH, but it's more of
Courtesy, I guess.
who's gonna go. Like
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna go to hang out with you guys because we'll talk more than just EDH. We'll do more than just EDH. You know, we'll hang out, we'll drink, and then like again, we're playing basketball like Sunday tomorrow. And there's no Magic involved in that, and this is the Magic community. But the best part is, my girl's like, okay, I'm not gonna take you away from your Magic. Like we can use it, but I'm just gonna play Magic with the guys. Like if I said we're gonna go out to the club with the guys, it'd be a whole lot different.
Yeah, it's the best excuse.
Can't go out.
Oh yeah, see, I have the total like opposite effect of Magic from my wife because I guess she grew up watching the male figures in her house wallow away in the nights playing Magic. So she kind of always scoffs at me every time I, make expenses at Magic or try to make time to play Magic. I mean, she doesn't stop me, but I can. It's palatable, the aggressive, passive aggressiveness. You can taste it in the air.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you call that game style? The one where you put like 300 cards and everyone draws from it? Is there a name for it?
It's called a community.
Community. I think we should do that on our next podcast. Play that while just doing what we do.
Yeah, all we have to do is there's an actual way to build a community deck. It's not like I've seen it before. It's pretty fun. So I just need to look it up because this puts all your shitty ass rares and your unused commons and it actually becomes something.
Can I put Battle of Wits in there?
So
get
Ghetto
put Battle of
Cube.
Wits in there.
Is that like the instant win card?
Almost. Yeah.
So essentially like a different version of Cube then.
Yeah,
Well, no, 'cause Cube
there's
is
no
like a
draft.
draft.
There's no
Yeah.
draft.
But this one is just legit. Just
One
stacking
big
up.
ass
One
stack
deck and
deck,
just-
and everyone draws 7 each, and then we roll. Goes
Is there a mulligan?
Yeah.
Oh man, just imagine shuffling that.
Wait. No names mentioned, right?
Yeah, no names.
No
mentioned.
names.
No, we don't.
Even though you dropped one.
Jason's a blonde.
Jason Simone.
Shout out to our boy Jason. He can't make it because it's not a marathon; it's a podcast.
Yeah.
We didn't have enough time for his.
Don't worry, Jason. I still love you.
Yo, we'll call you when there's a telethon, KJ.
Hey, when we're trying to go for a Titanic long podcast, Jay, you're the first to come to my mind, bro.
Yeah, but there's just a lot of ways that we could play community formats. Like I go to F&M and I don't even play Magic.
You don't actually.
Yeah, I think
Like when I see you playing, it's like, oh.
we literally use F&M as an excuse to hang out and drink.
Yesterday was my first F&M where I actually played Magic, and I think like months, if not like a whole year, because we play Magic like during the off days of the week. God, that was weird.
F&M is more drink out night or drink
Yeah,
out night.
really. Drink out and buy
Yeah,
cards.
Mike's the
Yeah.
perfect example. He only comes not even to play Magic anymore.
Oh,
he comes
goes.
out to events when they're not
Mike's
to play
retired from Magic, by the way. He'll come back eventually.
He's like a ghost.
Yeah,
Like,
he's the resident ghost in our WhatsApp group.
Well, the new ones now is the other Mike.
Just drop a line.
But Magic Mike has a new job, but he'll
Yeah.
try. He keeps trying.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take the days off and stuff. He'll make it a pre-release. and
Ghost
stuff.
Mike and Salty Mike.
You know what? If we're gonna talk about Salty Mike, it's because I'm the one that did that. But I gotta give him props. So this was the same game day where you guys won, or Cho won, and then I lost to both of you guys. I lost to Cho in the semis.
Hashtag flex.
So the
Hey,
salt
to be honest, I only draw a perfect card.
against me.
Your deck was like just tailor made to just eat me alive, just top deck central, dude. To be completely honest.
And I'm surprised. Like, remember that we built that deck in just like an hour before that game day. So it was black, red, vampire, zombies.
That's great, dude.
It's pretty weird.
It was straight up mad. It was just madness.
It was more of a black red madness. I think is more on theme.
Because I used that relentless dead for the madness fodder, all that shit. To this card stuff, and then everything would just keep coming. So I played that. Like, who the hell would thought that would have worked, right? Brought me up to the semis. We had a good game. I went to game 3 to eventual winner.
I had to like clench my asshole every turn, man.
Yeah, it was pretty harsh. But anyway, we're not talking about that game, even though I lost the Land Screw game 3. Anyway, we're talking about Magic Mike. He had the deck. It was Coco.
Yeah, band company. He went for the actual
I
exact
enjoyed.
66 or 75.
I enjoyed just ripping those decks apart because like I said, I had tailor made that my deck to eat those decks alive.
So I just made my deck because I turned sideways and synergy. That was the best.
Fast
thing.
control.
Yeah, so I met him.
Quotations.
I met him. He was top seed, wasn't he? I believe he was 1 seed.
First seed.
I was 8th seed. And oh man, I wrecked him game 1 even though he went first. It came down to game 3 and we're at a stalemate. We had like a Mexican standoff, but he had like the Donald Trump wall versus at my board, and my Mexicans were just trying to get in at his last two life of his. And he could have just won. I mean, Chris was watching it. Shin was watching it. He could have just won if he just was more on the aggro side than the build side. And he kept me alive for the point where I killed him. And the salt just poured because first seed undefeated, top deck.
Literally need to get him a gallon of water because he was so salty. But he's such a good sport though. He came back and brushed it off.
He brushed it off fast. He shows it like he just dumps it right there. And
I'm
then
not gonna lie,
yeah.
like I've pretty much I think I've seen all of us get kind of salty, throughout the.
Yeah, we'll get
time
salty
we
for
play.
like a day.
Yeah,
maybe.
no, a day's kind of long. I mean, me, I get salty for I think 30 minutes. I go outside, jam 2 shots or
then we come
a
back.
whole beer, and then I'll come back and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
I don't know.
Washed it down.
But I give him props because on that same night that he had all that salt, he was the only one that came with me to watch a movie, a sausage party. He's like, man, I'm really salty. I'm really mad right now, but I want to watch that movie. We're cool. I'm like, all right.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever brought the salt past the handshake. Like the second we shook hands, I was like, all right, it's done.
No, I bring salt. I bring salt. Like if you guys ever try playing Vanguard, I had all the salt in the world there, more salt than anything.
I know about that, man.
Your salt, I'm sorry, man. You broke my heart winning. That was the worst game day I ever won.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Vanguard.
Dude,
There's reasons why I quit that game.
dude, how about levels of salt? Can you just elaborate to us on your experience playing Legacy?
Oh.
Because when it comes to story of salt and it's extreme saltiness, that's the one situation comes to mind. I don't think I would survive that level of saltiness.
Maybe for another time, because we are actually going longer for this one. But to a TLDR, my salts tilted me to a different axis of reality. I became so woke.
You had so much salt, bro. From the first game day that you made the finals, man,
Dude.
you left in a heartbeat.
Yeah, my salt levels could maybe sedate the world of high cholesterol and high blood pressure.
I was convinced you were just gonna toss your fucking Legacy deck away after that happened.
That's double Grand Prix salt for you, bro.
Yeah. It's
Which is why I'm gonna shout out to Magic Mike again for his salt recovery. Because when our first Grand Prix, everyone else bounced. I understand why you bounce. Because you just need to win 1, make day 2.
Oh yeah.
And we had 3 rounds left. So I understand that. Dan was tired, but everyone else was just salted out.
No, I got cheated on.
Yeah, he got cheated
Me
out.
and Mike got tired.
That's
But
why
Magic Mike had all the salt in the world, but he was the only one that stayed to the end of day 1 to just watch me and Damien.
Wait, Ghost Mike, can you actually tell us how you got cheated on? That's I like that.
Yo, that was a stupid one, man.
Okay, well, On my turn, I transgressed the mine. He only showed me 1 card. And when it came to his turn, he magically had 4 cards in hand after that. And all of them were 3 reality smashers in his hand.
That was a sleight of hand kind of shit. Or he drew 2 extra cards.
Yeah. That's the one I noticed, like, when I asked him, like, you only have 1 card, why do you have 4 in your hand now? And they just happened to be 3 reality smashers.
And did you transgress the 1 card in his hand?
No,
right?
I missed.
So I'm like, how do you miss your transgress the mind? And he would have 3
Asian secrets.
freaking aliens. That's a Japanese sleight of hand kind of shit.
It was actually it was a Japanese guy.
So if your transgress the mind would have worked and he actually did have all those cards in hand, he only have 2 reality smashes. One have been removed from the game, right?
Basic math.
Come on, that's so stupid.
Well, he did almost cry when I called the judge. But I say I didn't know too much of the ruling then.
Yeah,
That he could have been disqualified. Instead, he
Suspended.
just got a warning.
You would have
Yeah.
got suspended too, actually.
Yeah,
And this
I
was
didn't know
what?
about that
This
at
was
the
what?
time.
GP 2015.
Yeah, Tokyo. The first
2016.
Tokyo GP in like
2016.
2016 Tokyo.
yeah, it
Yo,
was like the first
We need to go, bro.
major GP in like 20 years in
We
Tokyo.
need to go, dude.
Damn,
We
nice.
need to go. We need to go to
Chris.
Japan. I can't do Philippines for
Chris, we need to
reasons
go.
that I can't disclose, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
down for
yeah.
In
Japan.
the future podcast, we will discuss about
Yeah.
our full experiences in GP and future endeavors for GP.
And how we shouldn't invite like kids who've never been off island by themselves.
Oh, I know about that.
I-
That was just personality
I
clash.
think they just have to be at least 18 and above.
You know, without trying to like name drop and like subtly hit on who we're talking about, but yeah, like
Hey,
I don't know.
man.
I think it was more of a personality clash, but that's a story from
His
another
uncle's the
time.
governor, man.
We're also gonna figure out who ate the last slice of cake.
Inside joke.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to thank y'all for coming in for the Revival Podcast. It's been 2 years in the row in the making, especially those who have actually heard my first podcast back in 2015.
Never heard this.
Almost, it was I actually posted it on. I posted it on like November, so the next one would be marking my 2-year mark when I first started my journalism track. But yeah, I've been trying to like.
Hey, we're gonna hit up on that. Well, what's our next podcast on? Are you still thinking about it, or you have an idea?
Well, I have something that's in the list and working right now, and you just gotta stay tuned.
But we need a table, sit around.
Oh,
And beers.
We have to, right now.
Oh, yes.
We're watching some really ghetto ass setups.
We got a pouring couch.
Yeah, we're using my what was that the back couch or was that porn
Casting couch,
casting
man.
couch my casting
Come
couch
on, man.
style.
Stop acting like you don't
Yeah,
know.
don't act like you don't know that.
That's the name of
I do have
it.
a photo of a casting couch in Guam.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just using like backward ass setups. Maybe eventually I'm gonna start setting up to be a more professional or like more decent, not half-assed looking setups. Maybe even have videos with this, but for now we're
Man,
doing
does that mean I
audio
have to dress
only.
up then?
maybe. So yeah, you can find me out at SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook. Just look up the Chonation. Especially if you want to look this up, Chonation Podcast, or thechonation.wordpress.com, Facebook /thechonation, and YouTube /thechonation.
I want MySpace. You got a MySpace?
Sorry, Grandpa. The door is that way. You're trying to go back to 2002 era.
A Zanga or PFG?
All right, we're done here. So thank y'all for listening, and thank y'all for your time. Make sure you could hit me up with a comment, suggestions, just anything I could probably improve on the show. Maybe just some things you want to say about the guests. Any final remark, guys?
Don't do drugs. Play Magic.
Thanks for having us.
Actually,
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us here, dude.
All right, thanks.
My stomach's growling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Honestly-
thirsting right now for booze.
We should just fucking drink and chow at Thunder Chicken.
now
stay
woke.
All right.
And that'll be it, boys.
We're heading to Thunder Chicken, boys.
I need to eat my egg sandwich.